So no more sick employees, or quiet quitters, or barely minimum Mondays. If you don't want to do the work, a robot will do the work for you. Welcome to another episode of Tech That's Got Me Thinking with myself, Sonya Barlow, the founder of the LMF Network. In this episode, I want to talk about why Amazon has deployed 70,000 robots, how the luxury travel market is reaching $2 trillion by 2035, and the current stats that exist when it comes to women in technology, given that we've just passed and celebrated International Women's Day 2025. If you're new or you're reconnecting, just as a point of introduction, my name is Sonya Barlow. I am the founder of the LMF Network Consultancy and Careers Program. I am also an author and presenter. I am an enthusiast to keep on learning, and I realize the best way to learn is to share my thoughts on really how technology has rattled our brains and has got us thinking. So for one, we have just celebrated International Women's Day 2025. And I say this because I'm not really sure what we're celebrating, given that we are still less than 30% of the workforce, we as in women in the working space. Now, I'm not going to make this one of those other podcasts that drills into the numbers and gets really negative. Absolutely not. Look, according to the World Economic Forum, over 70 million jobs will be displaced because of artificial intelligence and tech, but over 90 million will be formed. And I think that gives us a really good opportunity for us to hone into our talent, align that with our skills, think about where the future of work is going, and really start developing ourselves so that we are the best person for that role. Now, obviously, that's not going to shift overnight because we've got systems we need to change, biases in recruitment, interview structures. But what I have realized is that I personally am really bored of the same conversation around just the stats, but not the so what. So according to Co-working Cafe or CIO, if 30% of the workforce or the tech workforce are women, but actually 37% of those in senior positions leave the workforce, which is definitely true. And if in terms of the leadership structure, we don't have enough women who are leading businesses, though they can be good decision makers and they do drive profits and purpose, systems need to be changed. So yes, we need to implement more mentorship programs, and yes, we need to level up the workforce, but also I think we need to take ownership to some extent to say this is where the world is heading. How can we make sure that our skills are aligned, and how are we showing up for ourselves? A good example being, no one asked me to do this podcast. No one even asked me to come back on and build this business. But I've decided that if I want to showcase my expertise in technology, in innovation and inclusion, artificial intelligence, in public speaking, I need to do something for myself to put myself out there, to reposition myself, to build up that portfolio that I can then take into the workspace and look, this is what I've done in my own time and built my own skill set. And so we spoke about this in the last podcast too. When artificial intelligence is displacing these jobs, think about what that future looks like. So are you following the relevant leaders, the relevant hashtags, the trends? Are you trying things in your own time? Everything from playing with ChatGPT and DeepSeek all the way to watching podcasts and attending the events and putting yourself out there. And I don't mean everyone needs to be loudest or the proudest. That could mean blogging, raising your hand, taking decisions in the workspace, owning the innovations and the different ideas that come to mind, putting forward different ideas, be that by email or to your managers and buddies, and just systematically making sure that we have the inclusive cultures to retain, develop and attract the relevant workforce, especially with the fact that EDI budgets are being cut and that we're seeing these biases still exist in the workplace despite all the work we're doing. So anyways, that's just a topic that was really important for me to share and talk on, and it's got me interested because that is the work that we do, but also as a woman in tech, shifting your point of view and owning that space. But also, and I spoke about this before, we're going to start a series which is all about how AI is changing X being any industry or subject matter, and get on very cool people who can share their insights, and hopefully we can help to create that change. When I think about the diversity and inclusion that does or doesn't exist in the world of tech, I think about the AI agents that are now entering the workforce, Something that worried me a little bit online is this Forbes article that says how Microsoft and other big tech companies are using AI agents to replace your employees. So, no more sick employees, or quiet quitters, or barely minimum Mondays. If you don't want to do the work, a robot will do the work for you. That is not what I'm saying, that's what Microsoft and Amazon and Google and this Forbes article is suggesting. The idea being that these large tech companies are introducing sales AI agents which have learned of large data pools of information and scripts and research that are now taking control of conversations. Right now, they are reactive. Eventually, language learning models will mean that they will be proactive. And according to research that I've been looking into, it suggests that if we were to deploy AI agents, they can predict failures by 95% before they would have occurred, but increase customer satisfaction by 50% because they're able to solve the problem straight away. Now, TikTok and work from home has definitely helped us realize what a day in the life looks like. And you might have seen various different videos of people who look like they're lounging by the pool whilst they do work. That doesn't mean that they're not doing the work. That doesn't mean they're not putting the effort in. What that does mean is it gives a bit more of a use case for companies to displace them because there are robotics and machines that will do the work quicker, faster, and more efficiently. According to the data, Microsoft has already launched and is working on 100,000 AI agents, and AWS has, and I'm reading this from the article, started a focus group led by an AWS executive to help users and customers automate more of their lives. So, new tools from the leading programmer will do the work. Now, this for me is interesting because what you may not know is that in 2022, I started building the LMF Network app, which in 2024 I launched into the App Store. That took time and effort and also my own learning. I used developers and I built on AWS. The reason why it's interesting is now we're in March 2025, and what this is suggesting is that AI agents can do the work quicker, faster, cheaper, and more efficiently. And it shouldn't have taken, or now it won't take 2 years to build an app and deploy it and see if it works. It can take maybe 2 months. That obviously, as a business owner is saving cost and time and efficiencies. But as somebody who might be employed or is trying to get into that field, that might be a different job that's being displaced, and we need to think about what that means for us. So, are you then going to be the AI prompt engineer? Are you going to be the AI developer? Are you going to be the AI consultant when it comes to working with large companies like Microsoft or AWS who are fundamentally displacing humans by using robots? And of course, we spoke about it before, humans are going to be necessary for that critical analysis, for the emotional intelligence, for the leadership skills that a robot just can't bring. But there is a big but. Every time I ask a leader to predict what the next 5, 10, 15 years look like, they can't. And when they do, it is a whole different world where you won't even know if the robot is a human or the human is a robot. And that brings me on to a movie I saw, and this was Bollywood. This was Shahid Kapoor in this movie called Teri Baaton Mein Aisa Ulja Jiya with Kriti Sanon. I'm reading this off the Wikipedia just to make sure that it's correct. And it's about this engineer that falls in love with this robot, and he has no idea that she is a robot, but she is a living, working robot that you can't really differentiate from a human being until you've got a charger up and a battery. And it definitely sounds scary, but it sounds like the future is with us. And not only is it in movies, but as we know, sometimes movies come true. Now, obviously, I've digressed, but the point being is that we are in a day and age where AI agents will be taking the roles of humans, and that large tech companies who have very much funded some of our lives are now deploying them. And you've got companies like ServiceNow who are building agents to actually look after these AI agents. And so you're just going to have this like hierarchy of robots looking after robots, looking after robots, feeding in information from the databases that pre-exist because we have so much data online now, and taking over roles like HR and IT and customer service and sales. For us as humans to do what? That is the $1 billion question. And I don't quite know the answer to that. And if I did, I might be super rich and you might be too. But the point being is that AI agents and robots are here to stay. And we need to really think about what that means for us as people of the world who don't want to be displaced or replaced, but definitely want to find our gap and our niches and our talent and help to not only build that future workforce, but be a part of that future workforce. Right, I'm pretty sure that I started this podcast saying that it wasn't going to be negative, and yet it just feels like doom and gloom. But let's pick it up a little bit. Let's think about all the money that some businesses are going to make in this new tech boom. Apparently, the luxury travel market, which is one of my favorite markets to be in, is going to generate $2 trillion by 2035, which is going to be driven by technological advancements, focused on sustainability, and generally personalized experiences. Now we're seeing a growth in demand for authentic experiences, solo travelers, and luxury well-being, slow travel, rest travel. If you don't know already, I have a separate YouTube channel under Sonya Barlow UK, which is all about my travels, business travel, and travel vlogs, because that is what I've been doing whilst I've been working and building a business. I most definitely have leaned into more of my luxury travel side as an investment in myself, but also as a celebratory reward for the work and hard work. And you do see changes. You know, I just recently came back from Saudi Arabia. I stayed at the Hilton, and as soon as I entered the hotel, it was very tech savvy. My room had automated lighting, blinds went up, blinds came down, smart lights in bathrooms. A small comparison to, for example, 5-star hotel that I stayed in Romania in 2024, which was 5-star, but very much didn't even have a smart TV or no smart products for in that case, and I wasn't as savvy when it comes to tech, despite being that space, Timișoara being a tech and engineering hub of Romania. Now that's not to say that you should compare the two, it's just to say that what luxury looks like in one space is very different from another. But as more spaces in the hospitality world include and introduce tech savvy equipment, data tracking to understand where people are spending the most time, where they are getting involved in the activities, which part of the beach is possibly the most used, that's where the prices of the rooms will be the highest. And so they're just getting smarter with the technology they're using and the innovations they're creating. At the same time, AI will help to customize your travel plans and enable hyper customized traveling. For example, when you are traveling, you might use tools like ChatGPT or other AI tools in the market to give you an itinerary or a plan or recommendations for restaurants. You might ask them to personalize your trips, but at the same time, given that there's so much automation and cloning and the same or similar happening in the world, if you have the funds, you might contact hotels and brands to say, I want a hyper luxury experience, which means it needs to be completely different from somebody else's, but I have the income to dispose of and to invest in it. On that point, seems like the rich are just getting richer, and you know, we need to do some serious business so that we can level up in that space too. But from what I'm reading, the hospitality sector is evolving, with hotels, airlines, tour operations focusing on VIP guest experiences and high-end inclusivity, cultural tours, futuristic transport solutions. So look, in San Francisco, they're doing self-driving cars, let's say an Uber, Tesla, or competitors. The idea being is it's going to be a smooth transition into this world of tech and luxury travel that we're not even going to realize, but we're going to expect. And the reason why I brought up that hotel in Timișoara is because, wrongfully so, I expected it. I expected a smart switch. I expected a smart TV. I expected blinds that I had to press a button with. And it sounds silly now, but actually back then, when you're so used to when you're so used to being immersed in technology in the daily aspects of your life, why would you not expect a space that is a tech university hub to also have gotten with the times? And I agree, it sounds, and even me saying something like gotten with the times sounds out of place, because what do you mean gotten with the times? Everyone has their own time frames and experiences and investment, right? But with tech moving so fast and us just as a consumer expecting a quick turnaround or replies within the 24 hours, with the lack of patience and the increased of exposure, knowing what's happening around the world, I don't think we're going to be in a place where I think it's going to be hard for us to have a lot of grace when it comes to skills or travel or automation or things being wrong, because we're just expecting, if you have so much information in the world, why is this not working in the way that we want it to work? What was the point of, in summary, what I want to get away, in summary, what I want to take away, in summary, what I want us to take away from these really short tech trends that have got us thinking, the way that artificial intelligence, innovation, technology isn't just shaping our industries, it's shaping careers and opportunities and how we experience the world. It's how it's making us, maybe to some extent, dumber people on one hand and smarter on the other. How the future of work, tech and travel all comes down to our own individual skills, what we believe is priority and we want to invest in, be the experiences or skills and opportunities or activities, and where we can create efficiencies with time, all the way to the biases that do exist in the hiring processes, and also gaps that are going to be created when everything is so automated. And I think I'm afraid of losing that human touch and that experience. I'm afraid of never getting a paper cut again, which is a silly thing, but the simplest thing. I'm afraid of always expecting things to happen really quickly when actually patience is a virtue. I'm afraid that we won't quite know what skills we need to stay ahead until it's too late in the game. And I'm afraid that not enough of us, especially individuals who are different, let's say a woman and a brown woman, are in part of these conversations, in these rooms when decisions are being made, or having such insight so they can take not only ownership of their career, but also make sure that the decisions are respective of their customers. And the reason why I want to be consistent with tech that's got me thinking is because I want to be in a position where I'm sharing and adding value, summarizing what I'm learning so that we aren't being left behind, but also pushing out new skills that might be the skills that we need for the future. And so in the comments, like you've done before, I'd love to know what your thoughts are on the future of tech, the future of travel, the future of work. And if you have any comments on the news trends and threads that I've shared with you, and most importantly, ideas on how I can keep this fresh and exciting and informative for you, outside of obviously bringing guests and experiences, and just making sure that we're all keeping up with the tech. Oh, and please remember to subscribe and share and tell a friend. Thank you.